So I was searching online the other day for the top frequently asked questions about Topeka and pulled up a pretty good list. So I thought, hey, I'm going to head over to Patrick's and just kind of chat with him about it. He's just got great perspective on stuff. So let's go check it out. Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Beck. I'm in the kitchen.
How's it going?
It's going well. Really well.
Awesome.
You want some coffee?
No, thanks. Thank you, though.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have some.
So I was searching the internet the other day, just looking for like the most frequently asked questions about Topeka. And one of the things that came up was actually like best neighborhoods to move to. And I thought, I need to talk to Patrick about that. So what do you think the best neighborhoods are that people could move to? Or what's your favorite?
Well, favorite neighborhoods, of course, that's highly subjective. So I'll just talk about my favorites and then also some that I've really enjoyed selling over the years with, for clients and whatnot, some ones I appreciate. I'm going to start with Southwest because that's where we live.
Yeah.
Like in Southwest, my wife and I, we always really loved Westboro, Westboro Park, and Collins Park area. Both of those communities are around a park. We used to live at 10th and Gage, and we'd go there and walk that neighborhood and just dream about living there. Mm-hmm. What we loved about it is all the stately homes, different architecture, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful neighborhood. And the parks were certainly nice too. In addition to Collins Park and Westboro, we really liked College Hill. In fact, we lived there. That was kind of the place we lived before we got to Westboro. We've moved quite a few times, as you know. So, and College Hill is pretty close to the university. Those homes were built late 1800s, early 1900s. So they're even older than Westboro, which was early 1900s, 1960s, up to that. So loved that. But we just really, really appreciated Westboro, just a truly beautiful community.
Yeah.
But we also really liked, and we haven't lived here, but we also really liked McFarland Farms because newer homes, but still have a lot of the character. Now the prices of McFarland Farms are considerably higher than Westboro, and especially higher than Collins Park. But beautiful planned community, still pretty central, which is great for like doctors who need to live close to the hospital.
Too. All of those are really close to the zoo.
Yeah, all of those are within 3 to 7 minutes of the zoo, Gage Park, good shopping and all that. So really, really liked that. Thought about moving there. In fact, we'd either live in McFarland Farms or we would still live in Westboro, except for we really wanted some land so you can do some things on land. So we got about 5 acres and that's where we live now. Yeah. But yeah, just beautiful communities. So as far as neighborhoods go, not acreage, that's where I love kind of more in the central area, central and southwest.
What about southeast, like over by Lake Shawnee?
Lake Shawnee, so I've never lived over there, but I've sold tons of properties over there and got a lot of friends there. Rockfire is a beautiful community. It's a premier community out there. It's a planned community as well. Clubhouse, pool, that kind of thing. Walking trails, beautiful. Aquarian Acres is nice. And then there's just a smattering of different neighborhoods around Lake Shawnee itself. Yeah. And what's great about that area is it's like 15 minutes to Lawrence.
Yeah.
So you
love the accessibility for sure.
Yeah, you're 10 minutes from a lot of the shopping in Southwest and Central Topeka and some other business aspects, but you're also 15 minutes from Lawrence. Yeah. So it's really advantageous. And from there, you're only about 45 minutes to Kansas City. Yeah. So that's great as well.
What about up north? I have a lot of friends that live up north.
So up north, kind of like Southwest, it's great for places. It's hard to say neighborhood because it's great for places with a little bit of land or bigger yards. And there's several different areas tucked away there. But if I'm saying neighborhood, Sterling Chase. Love Sterling Chase. Also,
I like Hickory Ridge too.
Hickory Ridge, you know what? Thanks for bringing that up. Hickory Ridge is beautiful. The reason why I didn't say Hickory Ridge is houses just don't come up there as much. But whenever I walk that community, I'm like, wow, this is the stuff. Yeah. So I get people requesting that. We look for them. Sometimes they end up at Sterling Chase. Yeah. Because it's, they don't have the time to wait for a Hickory Ridge house.
And they have some newer developments over there at Sterling Chase too.
Yeah, absolutely. No, a fantastic part of town, and there's so much more up north as far as shopping. What held that back for a while is that there wasn't. Now, within the last 20 years or so,
They've really expanded on all that stuff.
Yeah, just the stuff that people want to live near some restaurants and grocery shopping and
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's it. Now there's also a lot of great small towns around as well that are close.
Yeah.
But we're talking neighborhoods right now, so that's what I'd say on that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I knew you'd have good feedback.
Well, thank you. I've been doing this a while, so yeah.
And the second question was actually, man, that looks so cool.
What's
the
that?
French press.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, sure you know what's up?
I'm a basic coffee drinker,
Yeah,
so I don't do the fancy schmancy stuff, but that's pretty cool. But the second thing that got brought up was actually the weather. People were curious what the weather was like in Topeka,
Well,
Kansas in general.
Well, as far as the weather, we could take a look at outside right now, but the fact of the matter is we never know what the weather's going to be like in Topeka because it changes so frequently. We just...
It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, but you can't squish one and put it back in the box.
That's so true. So, and then when you do, it's when you get 70 degrees down to 10 degrees, all within a 24-hour span.
Yeah.
Here, I think it's pretty cool. The view out your back area.
Oh yeah, the weather right now is crazy. This is like the third largest snowfall we've had in recorded history.
I know. Yes, I saw that.
We had up to 17 inches. Now, of course, some of that is melted away at this point because it doesn't typically hang around.
But I think this is a good view of what Kansas gives you.
Oh yeah.
I love this view of all the snow just piled up where you would be laying out.
This was a lot of work. I spent about 6 hours
shoveling
snow
Yeah.
one day and about 2 hours another one because then it drifted with the winds. But yeah, I mean, I am gonna make a disclaimer. You can't typically leave your pool open all year.
Yeah.
I do because I keep the pump running and I like to do cold plunges in the winter.
Oh.
So that's why I keep it open. Most people will shut their pool down. That is the responsible thing to do, but
Yeah. Well, we shut ours down, that's for sure.
yeah, absolutely.
But I love it. We definitely have all 4 seasons, although I feel like spring is never quite long enough.
We do have all 4 seasons. Sometimes we have them in one day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, so this is, I feel like, the best example of what Kansas has to offer. You're definitely going to get a real winter. So.
Oh yeah, you will, but you'll get breaks within that too. Like, I say you get a real winter, but I mean, it could be like this, and then a few days later it'd be 50, 60 degrees. And
That's
I've seen
true.
that,
When I got married, it snowed like 3 inches 2 days before, and then it was 75 degrees on our wedding day.
My kids are just now not wearing shorts to school.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
and then,
yeah,
you know.
we did have a warm holiday season, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a little cold for my liking, so let's
Well,
go.
you should cold plunge, then you wouldn't be cold right now.
No thanks. Let's go hang out by your fire. You have a fire going, don't you, Patrick?
Well, I just started one. We'll see how it's doing.
So we covered 1 and 2. The third and fourth ones don't really like mix, but kind of they do. So it's like the top schools or questions about schools, and then same thing about like safety. What's your opinions on the schools here in town?
Well, schools, I'd love to get your opinion on that too, but my opinion is, you have choices here that you don't have in some other places.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to do their research online to see what would be best for them, but we have some good public schools and we have some really good private schools as well.
Yeah.
And, it's a lot of people's home choice is very school district driven.
That's true. I would say that about Topeka for sure, yeah.
More than asking about a neighborhood, people usually come with us and say, hey, we're looking for a home in this school district.
Yeah.
And, all of them are asked for, but different people have different reasons for that. Mm-hmm. And some of it's because they want to live closer to family or that's where they went to school, et cetera. But some of them are based on, looking at the web and test scores and all that stuff as well. But, we got some great public schools. We chose a faith-based school just because of our beliefs. And it's very academically rigorous. And it's the kind of school that we have a really hard time affording in most other places in the nation. I
know, that's what I love about it. I feel like it's actually affordable and possible here.
Yeah, it's still a sacrifice because it's fairly expensive, but it's not like it would. We used to live in Scottsdale, Arizona. There's no way I could, afford to pay the kind of tuition rates that there are in that. And,
Yeah.
and whether
for
it's
sure.
West Coast or even other Midwestern cities, and certainly not North or Northeast, that we have some options here. So great options with public schools and private. We got Carapella Latin School, Hayden, those are both faith-based schools. There's Heritage Christian and several others. Please don't be offended if I leave yours out, not intentional. And not just in Topeka, but also surrounding Topeka, there's some great, smaller communities that are 15 to 30 minutes away that have great public schools.
Yeah.
My wife and I went to Mission Valley. That's about 30 minutes out, and that's a smaller public school. We love that. Silver Lake is there too. So, I mean, I think you really get the best options here compared to the other places.
I mean,
we've
you
lived.
just get like kind of the pick of what you want. I mean, unless the school district is full, most school districts in town, you can apply even if you're not within that district. So like my husband works for Washburn Rural, and they opened it up to where anybody can go there, but you have to fill out, the application. As long as they're not full, then they're accepting students from different areas. But I love that. And then specifically, one thing about Topeka High that I think a lot of people don't know is like that's like $1 million building. Like that thing looks.
The architecture is
holy smokes.
Par excellent.
So
when
cool.
I drive up, especially when you drive straight up to it and you're looking at the architecture, it's strangely enough, people don't know this. The same person who, the architect who designed Topeka High is also who designed Carapella Latin School, the building that we're in. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So there's they're kindred spirits as far as our architecture goes, and so when it comes to that kind of stuff in schools, you may be a little bit better to talk to because our kids have only gone to private school.
Yeah.
Now we got a lot of friends that their kids go to public school, and we've served a lot of clients and know some of that. But like the voucher, it's not a voucher. What is it? You have to apply to.
Yeah, like if you're not within district, there's like a form you can fill out, and I mean, as long as the schools are not at capacity. I know Washburn Rural has had that issue. They're actually opening a second middle school finally next year. Well, I guess in 2025. So that should open up flexibility to allow more students in. But I think I believe, don't quote me, but I believe every district is like that. But I mean, even up north, out east, in the middle, I mean, we have just a really great option of schools in Topeka. Especially with my husband being in the school system, like I am a big believer in our opportunities.
Well, they
here.
just built a new middle school, right?
Yeah.
And that's looks pretty amazing from the outside.
It's going to be so cool.
So so a lot of good choices there. And I say you should know more about this. I went to Washburn Rural up until my junior year, and I was just too rowdy for a big school, so I ended up going to Mission Valley, a smaller school.
You had to go to the little one.
Yeah, so I actually did what you're talking about. I had to get permission,
Get like
but
approved or whatever.
they were fine with me doing that, and that's good news because that's where I ended up meeting my wife. So
Now, speaking of being rowdy, it's kind of a good transition into what the fourth question was that popped up, which was safety. The safety in Topeka.
yeah,
What are your thoughts on that? I mean, I do know we have a new police commissioner coming. He moved here, I think, a week or two ago.
yeah,
So he's starting beginning of 2025.
yeah.
And I know like the academy is kind of blowing up. Like there's lots of people enrolling to become a police officer. But what's
All more
your
recruits?
yeah recruits? So like what's your take on the safety of Topeka?
Well, frankly, I wish the crime stats were better. I feel like a lot of it's pretty isolated, though, and so I think that everyone can do web searches and whatnot. You can see certain places that have higher crime and the types of crime and whatnot. But I mean, like where we are right here, our place, it's fantastic. It's very accessible. So what I think people don't always realize is even though there's some, we wish crime stats were a little bit better, a lot of times still the better areas are more accessible here. The ones with lower crime statistics are more accessible as far as the cost of purchasing a home and getting into the school district that you want and the type of home that you want. Because even some areas that I kind of looked compared to some other cities, and I'm like, yeah, that their overall stats might be a little bit better, but trying to get into a neighborhood that we would want to live in some of those states, some of those communities, I'd have to spend $750 to $1 million to even just think about it. And here, you know, you can get into a good area for $150,000, $200,000 for a home. And so, I mean, that it's not the whole story, is what I'm saying. And I think a lot of that stuff is pretty isolated, because I look at the crime stats and it doesn't match my experience.
I agree. You know, being from Kansas City, I love Kansas City. Nothing's wrong with Kansas City. But being from there, when I came out here to go to Washburn, you know, people were, oh my gosh, you're from Kansas City. Like, have you seen drive-bys? And I'm like, no. But I do feel like I was desensitized to crime just because, I mean, you hear it on the news morning,
in a bigger city like that,
night, in the bigger city all the time. Whereas in Topeka, I mean, yes, there's crime. Yes, you hear about it. It's not nearly what I was used to in Kansas City, though. So I agree with you. Like, if you look at stats, I'm sure they say a certain thing. That has not been my experience either.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I would not be able to afford one of the, you know, safer neighborhoods or whatever in Kansas City like I could here in Topeka. So,
and I agree with you on that. And I'm not scared to go anywhere in Topeka. But I just there's other areas there's certain areas that I would more want to raise a family than others, just like everybody in every city. And I think those they're more accessible here. And Kansas City is wonderful. It's we go up there. Sometimes we'll go there for date nights or weekends with the kids, and it's great. And it's only an hour away. Yeah. And I feel great in most areas in KC as well. So, like I said, I think it's just like anywhere. In some ways, it's what you make of it. And the other part is that you choose to be wise, and you live where you feel most comfortable. Yeah, for sure. That's a great point. Yeah. Now, the last thing, and my favorite thing that popped up was, is there actually anything fun to do in Topeka? Yeah, and you're more excited about that than me, quite frankly. So, yeah, I mean, you came from Kansas City, and I know you love it here. I've never heard you say a negative thing about Topeka. I know, I love it, and I was telling you earlier, I think it's kind of like the season of life I'm in as well. I'm not looking to go to clubs. I'm not looking to do those sorts of things. I've got a 5 and a 7-year-old, so it's all about things we can do as a family. The only club you're going to go to is a crochet club or a book club. That's probably true. Yeah, that's accurate. Becky's an old soul, that's for sure. But I mean, so like the Discovery Center here in town, it's this really amazing place that you can take kids, and they just have like different activities and different things you can do. But they have a multi-million-dollar expansion they're doing right now that's going to make that even bigger. That's right by the Topeka Zoo. That's right by Gage Park and all of that accessibility. They've got like Bonkers. Not a lot of people know about this. And yeah, if you say Bonkers, people don't know what you're talking about. So that's a place in town. That's a word for crazy. That's all it is. I would say it's kind of like Chuck E. Cheese in that they have like games you can play, and then they have like a little area that the kids can climb and like get all their wiggles out and stuff. But they have this program. It's like $50 a year or $60 a year, and you can take your kids there anytime that entire year. And so, having just got 17 inches, we knew the storm was coming. We just take the kids there, let them get their wiggles out. We're going to do it today after we pick the kids up. Just take them there because we're going to be... Well, bless your heart. That'll be fun. I know. But it's very... But there's other things too. Like there's the Topeka Civic Theater that has like plays and has like laugh lines, and kind of like our event center that hosts, you know, comedians or whoever's coming to town. So going bonkers, I agree with your description, except for I will draw a distinction between that and Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese is more like a kid casino, and going bonkers is a little bit more active. That's true, because Chuck E. Cheese actually no longer has like climbing or anything. Yeah, they don't have that stuff. It's all games. It's all games. Yeah. The other thing I was going to mention about fun things is now more age appropriate. So like they have the axe throwing, like the stuff downtown. Oh yeah. Like the axe throwing, the pennant that has like bowling alley in it, has the arcade upstairs. What do you guys like to do? So it's funny you say that, because that's the two. My son, he just turned 16, and this year we went bowling and did some other stuff. And we've done the pennant before for his birthday parties. We've done axe throwing for his birthday parties. So some people hear that stuff and they're thinking, oh, that's only for adults. Yes, it is kind of like a bar. There are bar restaurant atmospheres with the pennant and axe throwing, but you can also rent out space and have 15, 16-year-old kids in there having a good time. and do corporate events at those things
Did
too.
you do a golf thing? What's the golf
We
place
did, yeah, we
downtown?
did the Tee Box.
Oh,
That
the
was
Tee Box,
downtown.
yeah.
So we did that, and that was a lot of fun.
That's
So
like a golf simulator thing, right? Like
it was, yeah,
it's
it
pretty fun.
is. And
Yeah.
yeah, and actually the appetizers were quite good too. So
yeah.
so we I'll tell you what, you bring 12 young boys to a place like that and you buy appetizers, they will put a hurting on you. Those kids, they'll eat and eat and eat. So
I don't doubt it.
yeah.
Love it. Well, that kind of wraps up the questions, the most common questions or frequently asked questions that I found. I think you have such a good perspective on it. So thanks so much for chatting today.
Yeah. So I just want to ask you though, what is your favorite neighborhood? If you just had to pick one, what would it be? If you're gonna live anywhere.
I'm gonna say Misty Harbor area. It's
You do like Misty Harbor
I do.
a lot. It
My
is nice.
My church is right over there.
I knew that had something to do with it.
The little area that it is, it's almost like a ginormous cul-de-sac. So it's all, newer-ish homes, but it's just safe and it's family feeling, and I have friends that live over there too, so that's kind of part of it. But you see kids trick-or-treating and you see kids out playing basketball, and it's just that I would absolutely love to live in that neighborhood.
And that's great.
personally.
And that's part of, they have that health club over there with the pool and the golf course.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
part of the
yeah.
Great Life.
Yep, right over there.
Which, Great Life.
They've got a driving range off of it too.
Yeah, that's great. So you said trick-or-treating, that made me think, I cannot believe that we didn't mention Potwin earlier.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's true. Potwin, stunning. Love it.
I said stately homes at Westboro and Collins Park. Beautiful area. Potwin is even actually older than those neighborhoods. And I mean, just...
You better be able to afford some decor though if you're going to move there.
Yeah, a line item on your budget for Halloween candy and Christmas decorations. And
Yes.
you do need to decorate for Christmas if you're going to be
Yes.
in that neighborhood. It's part of its appeal. We drove through there, probably twice a week during the Christmas season when the kids were little, just looking at Christmas lights.
Yeah, I love that. I love that as well. And they've got like the brick roads.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a
With the
cool
roundabouts, it's impossible to speed through there. You can't
yeah.
do it. So,
feel.
yeah.
Love it. Well, thanks so much, Patrick.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.